Hello everyone and welcome back to CJ's Plants, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a full garden tour. I'm going to walk around my garden, I'm going to talk about the plants, and I'm just going to show you how they're doing. Today is June 29, 2025, which is a Sunday, and this garden tour is roughly half a year after the last garden tour that I recorded and posted on this YouTube channel. So, starting off with this tour, we have this lovely coconut palm. It looks very nice. I have to say it's grown quite a lot, and it's actually starting to look like a real palm. From the last garden tour, it didn't really look that good, but now it looks amazing. There's an Okinawan sweet potato, or at least that's what I believe it's called, growing at the base of the palm. And then here's kind of the back side of the palm as well. And then here is the base of the tree. You can also see the coconut, but the base is in fact thickening up. It's starting to become a real palm. Okay, so in place of the Moringa stenopetala that used to be here, I planted another coconut palm. This was the largest one that I had that was still in a pot, and it looks tiny compared to this other one. I did try to build some kind of like mini swale system around it, so when I watered it, the water would pull up. And yeah, here it is. Not too much to show. Here's a plumeria cutting that I got from school, and I planted it in the ground. Just planted it yesterday. Here's I believe a foxtail agave, which I also got from school, and I just planted yesterday. This is a sweet potato that's been around for a few years, and I built a large mini swale around it. Now so it can hold more water. Here's another sweet potato. Here's an aloe vera. And what you see over here is the magnolia tree. And then I'll walk over and show you all more like the succulent area. I call this the desert part of the yard. Here's a plumeria. Here's some cacti. This is a dragon fruit. I'm not exactly sure what that is. This is a water holding plant. Houses mosquitoes. And then this is it's cactus, and then another cactus, and this quite established and quite large dragon fruit. And then there's another dragon fruit right over there, and then a pot of aloe vera. And then you saw this. This is a vinca. I'm surprised this is alive right now. I didn't think these things were this drought hardy, because we are in a drought right now. But this vinca is doing very, very well despite the current conditions. It's flowering, has some green leaves, and it's producing some seeds right here. Okay, and then kind of over this ledge, here are more succulents and cacti. This is a ponytail palm. Some palms, desert roses, aloe vera, some cacti that I don't know the name of, and then whatever that is, some more aloe vera, some more desert roses, ZZ plants. I think these might be called snake plants. I'm not quite sure. And then just more cacti, more desert roses, jade plants, and yeah, pretty much like a desert over here. And then we are going to walk over to my best looking prickly pear. This is my prickly pear cactus. Yesterday I put a little mini swale around it so it can hold even more water, because we are in a drought and Hawaii has been very dry. And yeah, here it is. It's grown quite a lot, and it looks really, really healthy. I'm very happy with this guy's progress. And then here's another view of, oh, that, I think that's just a plane going overhead. Yeah, there's a lot of planes that fly overhead. And then here are more succulents. And then this is just kind of like a bunch of random plants, a bunch of, well, more drought resistant plants, I should say. There's this alpaca, which you can see at our beaches. There's this tree. You can see this at the beaches a lot. Tons and tons of aloe vera. And then whatever this is, whatever this plant is over here. More alpaca. There used to be some prickly pears. I'm not sure if those are alive. And then there's a bunch of aloe vera that are just embedded deep in this foliage. You can see one back there, if the camera will focus. But yeah, and then there's also dragon fruit that I'm trying to grow in here. Kind of just throw a cutting in here. And then amongst the aloe vera, there's also another foxtail agave. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for this bed. It's just a bunch of random plants, and they somehow all survive even though I never water them. All right, let's move more to the backyard. We have to go through this corridor. So over here is like a mini tea leaf. This is an unknown Filipino vegetable. That's what I call these plants. I'll show you a better looking one later on. This used to be the location of a quite large unknown Filipino vegetable, but unfortunately it died for some reason. I'm not really sure. And then it's also pretty worthy to show. There's this guava that is overhanging onto my yard. You can see some pretty cool guavas. And then this is a decorative purple taro. And then this is the other unknown Filipino vegetable that has been growing quite well. This is what the other one used to look like before it died. But here is a better look at it. Still, I'm not quite sure the name, but here it is. Pretty tall, I'd say. And then this is my ecosystem pond. It's grown quite a lot. I've introduced a ton of awesome fish in it, and I'm quite frankly surprised that some of them are alive. The grass has really, really filled out around this pond, which makes it look more natural. Here's the little outflow pool. Here's my little seating area that I made. That way, so if you wanted to enjoy the pond, you can just sit down, relax. And then this brick thing over here, this is so I can put an umbrella here whenever it's sunny, and I can put some shade over these chairs and the table. So it's super nice. This was, I put this in about a few weeks ago, and it looks quite nice. And there's, that's where the umbrella goes. And then here's the pond itself. So I'm not gonna list all the fish that are in here, all the species, but I'll try to go over as many as I can right now. So I have goldfish, betas, zebra danios, neon tetras, rosy barbs, black skirt tetras, cardinal tetras, one black neon tetra, white cloud mountain minnows, Dalmatian mollies, let's see, platies, checkered barbs, I think lemon tetras, or they're either lemon barbs or lemon tetras. And then I have, I think it's either a glow light or a harlequin, raspora. And that's about all the fish I can remember for now, but there are a ton of different species of aquarium fish that you don't really expect to find in a pond that are, you know, surviving in this pond. They survived for quite some time, and it has surprised me quite a lot. And that's my Joaquin in there. Joaquin goldfish. Okay, let's move on. So, here's my green tea leaf. Here are some other ponds. This is my grape plant. This is my monstera. Then over here, these are my garden beds. This is my summer project. So first of all, actually I'll just tell you about all the plants. I have my little labels. Okay, these are my sweet corn, Biolicious hybrid. Here they are. And then I have my cauliflower, Snowball Y, in this little row over here. Brussels sprouts, Long Island Improved, in this row. Cabbage, Copenhagen Market, in this little row over here. Japan eggplant, which is a hybrid variety, in this little row right over here. Maui onion, yellow Granex PRR, in this little section over here. And then choysum at the very end. Moving on to the next garden bed, I have jalapenos in this little row over here. Radishes, Chinese or Celestial, in this row. I counted way too many. Onion, white sweet Spanish, in this little section over here. Broccoli, Decicio, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, in this little row in the back. Bunching onions, Tokyo Long White, in this row over here. Lettuce, the mesclun salad mix, in this little section over here. I think you're supposed to separate them, but I kind of planted them all together. Let's see what happens. Chutney carrots, I planted way too many, I would say. And then another species of radish, Cherry Bell. Planted way too many, yet again. Surprise, surprise. And then this is the most sanely planted bed, I would say. The Vertiger's tomato, not sure if I said that right either. And then tomatillos. Right over here, Milpero. And then at the end, there are some asparagus plants as well. Like this one over here. And then this other asparagus, green asparagus, not purple. And then these are all the extra seedlings I had that I didn't really know what to do with, but I also didn't want to waste. So here's a jalapeno, bunching onions, salad mix, tomatillos, and way too many tomatoes. Okay. So let's move on. Here's a monstera. And then here are all my coconut palms. Give you a better view. Here they are. And then this is all my Pele's hair with basically has a bunch of air plants. Looks pretty neat. All the air plants are all just hanging on the tree, and I just have to water them every once in a while. This is I don't know. I have no idea what some of the names are. But I know this is a staghorn. And then yeah, here are just a bunch of the air plants. And then this over here is an orchid that I've grown. This thing's a few years old, and it's been pretty cool. Here's some of the roots. I also have this orchid also growing. This one right here. Okay. Here's another view of the coconuts. And then here are some variegated tea leaves. Green, or I wouldn't say variegated, but green and red. Used to be from a tea leaf over there, but unfortunately it died. It lived for several years, but now we have these tea leaves over here, and then the Hawaiian state flower, which is right over here, this little plant. Here is my koi, who's in a 169-gallon horse trough. His name is Gold Rush. He's a huge fish. Here's my hand. Actually, you can't really see, but he's a huge fish. Trust. Here's my other pond. This fish is not dead. He just has a swim bladder problem. I have to feed him some duckweed. But here's my goldfish pond, fancy goldfish pond. There's some Anubias in there, and then this originally had a beta, and then it just mysteriously disappeared. I have no idea where it went. And then I just have a platy in here that was being a little too aggressive, and there's just a guppy that was accidentally brought in. And then this is the section of orchids. The thing that had all the orchids was moved, so this is where they are now. This is the chocolate orchid. The flowers smell like chocolate. It's my little keiki that I got from before, several years old. Some other orchid, don't know. Orchid mixed with some succulents. Here's my lucky bamboo that are growing here as well. And then more succulents, whatever this is. And then my variegated vanilla is still alive, along with my very successful normal looking vanilla. Okay, it's not the best leaf. Basically, it just has no variegation stripes. But yeah, here is the vanilla. It's sprawled quite a lot, and the trellis kind of fell, but it looks pretty good. It's a very nice looking plant, very healthy. I should probably transplant it out of this pot. And the stem, one of the stems has decided to start climbing the wood support of my house. And here it is. Going all the way up. I'm just gonna keep letting it climb. And the roots are also starting to wrap around. And then we're gonna move up into this place, up into this part of the yard before moving to the back. Before I show that, this is my Song of India tree. Actually, it was planted before I moved into this house, but here it is. It's a pretty beautiful tree. This is another orchid that was from that set of orchids. It's not doing too well. Here's another unknown Filipino vegetable, right over here. And then right next to it is another unknown Filipino vegetable that has grown quite a lot more. And then these plants over here. Not really sure what this is, but it's kind of nice for privacy, and it looks kind of cool. There's also some ferns growing at the base of these plants. Then as we move up here, this is the former sweet potato patch. They used to have so much sweet potato, but the drought has annihilated it to only these small little pockets. And there's also some purple hyacinth bean growing here for some reason. And then over here, this is kind of like my little desert experiment where I try to like prevent the soil from eroding, then I water it. Kind of spawned some cacti here, see how they would do. So here's how they look, and there's also some chandelier succulents, that are also growing here. And then, so you see these are just the little sweet potato plants that I've held on. And then there's also dragon fruit growing here. There's this cactus plant that's struggling in the drought, but it is flowering. Pretty cool. There's an avocado. This had been living for several years, but unfortunately it died. The drought just killed it. There's also a dragon fruit that was growing here, and then that's what it's been reduced to. And then here are this is kind of like a wall of unknown Filipino vegetables and pigeon beans. It's made to be a privacy barrier, but I'm not really sure how well that worked out. And then it's kind of like the back view of the rest of, it's kind of like the, back view of the rest of the backyard. All right, let's move to the backyard. This used to be the location of some kind of plumeria-related plant and a poinsettia, but they are unfortunately gone now. Here are a bunch of random plants, some palms, some more palms, Christmas tree palm. It's actually flowering right now. Here it is. Some Song of Indias, Christmas tree palm, babies. I believe this is actually called a Christmas tree palm, not entirely sure. And then another unknown Filipino vegetable cutting. And then this is a fig cutting that I grew. Here's another fig plant. And then this is my small fig tree. Believe it or not, this fig was grown from a cutting. This one was too. And this one and this one are the same age. How? I'm not too sure. Probably because I planted this one first. So this one has actually produced some figs, as you can see, three to be exact. And I've covered them so the birds won't eat them. They're taking a long time to mature, so I'm not sure when they're going to be ready. Here's a good view of each of them. But I'm very happy this fig is old enough to produce. Okay, let's move this way. So this is the backyard. All of the fruit trees that have been planted in the ground are here. And yeah, let's get started. This is my soursap tree. It has not grown that much. It's kind of this is a crown flower that just started growing here. Volunteer crown flower. This is a prickly pear cactus. This is a coconut palm, very, very small. This is my olive tree. It has grown a lot. It's very established and it's very healthy. Here's the backside of the unknown Filipino vegetable. This is a succulent plant which is growing next to my olive tree, which is right here. This trunk has gotten huge. This is my thumb compared to the trunk. Absolutely gigantic. Very, very healthy tree. This also used to be side of some kind of succulent, but unfortunately, it is dead. This is my ice cream banana. I've cleaned up some of the dead leaves, and it looks pretty nice. I don't see any new suckers coming out of the ground, so yeah. Oh, sorry. Ignore the talking. Ignore the side conversation. That's just my neighbors. Anyways, continuing on with the garden tour. This is my ice cream banana tree. No suckers, but it's doing quite well. It has been affected by the drought, though. Here's a full view of the unknown Filipino vegetables and the pigeon beans that I planted. They look very, very healthy. And then this tree that you've been seeing over here is the Moringa stenopetala. I dug it up, I planted it in the ground out here, and it's grown, but not that much. Either it's shocked or this soil is just not that good. I've tried to build some mini swales, which desperately needs some maintenance in order to at least trap some of the water so it could water the tree. There's some damages that it incurred while transplanting. But yeah, here's the tree. There's a few branches that it's tried to grow, but I think maybe fertilizing it can help this issue. here's the back side of the tree. And there are also, you'll see this with some of the fruit trees, there are a bunch of pigeon bean plants, which are these that are going around it. I recently trimmed those to provide some kind of mulch. This is my pomegranate tree. It's actually started to grow. It's pretty nice. This is some kind of edible bean tree. I'm excited to see if it ever fruits and if I can try it. This is a moringa that I've grown from a seed. Behind it, of course, is more of the pigeon bean and unknown Filipino vegetables. This is my moringa, Stenopetala. And then this is another moringa tree that I have. I just trimmed these, so they look kind of sad right now, but they are starting to grow back. This is my citrus tree that I grew from a seed. It's several years old. And behind all of these are a bunch of pigeon beans that are behind these trees. This is my mango tree, which I recently did a video on. Here's a full view of it. This is another moringa tree. And then this is a starfruit tree that I planted somewhat recently. And then this is another moringa. I believe this is grown from a seed. Here's my rosemary plant. And then this is the OG pigeon bean. This thing is several years old. Okay, this plant right here, this one. This is a several-year-old pigeon bean. It's super healthy. And yeah, I'm interested to see how long it's gonna live. And then behind it, this is, well, you saw this earlier, but this is my guava plant. This was given to me by my grandma's friend. And yeah, this is, I trimmed it yesterday. It used to be a lot larger, probably like 2.5 times this size roughly. But yeah, I did trim it, and here it is. I was hoping that trimming it would induce a growth spurt. This is my lemongrass section. A lot of it has died due to the drought that we've been having. And I also have whatever these are. I also have a very successfully growing moringa tree that I trimmed yesterday. A very successful moringa tree that has been growing out of the lemongrass patch. I should probably trim this soon, honestly. It's also commingling with this sugarcane that I'm trying to grow over here. I actually cut this and harvested it yesterday. And here's the sugarcane plant. It's kind of harder to see. Oh, there's a bumblebee. It's kind of harder to see because of course it's commingling with the moringa tree. But here it is. It's growing very, very healthily, and hopefully I can harvest more. This is my starfruit. It has produced some starfruits. Some have fallen to the ground. Some are still on the plant. But yeah, this tree has stayed very, very small for the past few years. Here's another view of the fig tree. This is a plumeria cutting. I also got this from school, and I planted it in this pot over here. There are a lot. This is kind of like my random pot where I just put a bunch of stuff. I have some grape cuttings I just threw in here from my trimming yesterday. There's some unknown Filipino vegetables. There's random citrus plants. I have no idea how these got in here. I have pigeon beans, and of course this plumeria cutting. And then I have some moringa Stenopetala plants, taro, some kind of relative of the chandelier succulent. This is my purple asparagus. This is kind of like the random plants area. So this is a brown turkey fig. this was a, oh dang it, I forgot what this was called, but unfortunately it died. These are my blackberries I got from Costco. Yes, Costco was selling blackberry plants. And then yeah, this is just a bunch of random plants. I have another Christmas tree palm, star fruit. Yeah, it's been kind of dry. I probably need to water some of these. Definitely need to water these. But yeah, some water holding plants, avocados, this bean plant, some more unknown Filipino vegetables, coconut palms, I think snake plants, plumerias, mangoes. I think these are longans. Jade. I think there's some jade plants, some desert roses. There's a red plumeria in the back over there. And then it's behind the shed. And then whatever this is. And yeah, just a bunch of random plants. Behind me is the pomelo or jabong tree. Here it is. To the right of it is the avocado tree. And then the tree right next to this. Oh look, there's another plane going. Okay. This is another moringa tree. This is my oldest moringa tree, but its growth has really slowed down. I'm not really sure why. I hope it's not gonna die soon. I'm gonna try and trim it, and I'm going to try fertilize it. Hopefully that'll help. And then you've been seeing this tree as I've been walking around. This tree right here. This is my unknown berry tree. It's been doing quite well despite this drought, and yeah, there's some beans that sometimes like to grow up into the branches. And then here's like kind of a panoramic view of the garden. It's a beautiful day, I have to say. And then now under the avocado tree, here's more of the random plants. There's some more palms, some fruit trees like soursap, some coconuts that unfortunately did not make it. Here's the unknown berry tree. It's kind of hard to show you from here, but here it is. There's a bunch of Pele's hair growing around it. And then there's also these air plants that you can also see. It's a different perspective. This is I'll have to show this corridor after, but there's some potted plants behind there. Here's the back view of the garden beds. This is kind of like the mini bed where I put the other plants. This is the one with the tomatoes and the tomatillos, the one with the radishes, carrots, lettuce, and green onions. This is the one with broccoli, onions, radishes, jalapenos, and then this has some brassicas, eggplants, and onions, and then this is the corn one. And then this is my monstera plant. And then this is my compost tumbler, which I don't really use. This is the trunk of the avocado tree. I did not plant the big avocado tree or the pomelo tree. Oh wait, I also forgot to mention, this is important. The avocado tree, actually I showed this in an earlier video, but the avocado tree that was over here, yeah, it died, unfortunately. Its stem was placed into one of these garden beds to continue the legacy. And then, yeah, as I walk to a place that looks kind of familiar, probably, we're gonna wrap up this garden tour. These are some of like the plants in this back corridor. This is just some random plants, some Song of Indias, and ferns and stuff. And then, yeah. This is my pond that I need to use sometimes. And then, I think we can end the garden tour sitting at this nice pond. Wanted to thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. Drop a like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and maybe even comment if you really feel like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Here's one last look at the unknown berry tree. As you can see, it's a very beautiful looking tree, and I'll see you next time.